Hello, I am Jumes and this is the 7th episode of the SupremeItem tutorial series. In the last episode we explained how to loop actions. Before starting, I would suggest you to join our Discord server where you will be able to ask for more specific support, suggest new features and see items created by other people. The link of the Discord server is in the description. I would also ask you to put a like to support me and my work with this plugin. In this way you might help other people find and use this plugin. In this episode, we will see variables and how to use them inside actions. Let's start by explaining what variables are. Variables act as boxes that can contain any value inside them. We can store values inside these boxes, and we can retrieve the value inside them later in other places. In the case of SupremeItem, we can store multiple types of variables, like numbers, strings, and vectors. More types of variables will be added in the future, however. Variables are identified by a string ID. Such ID is used to retrieve variable values after setting them. The variable can be of two types, persistent or non-persistent. In the first case, the variable value will persist through server reloads, while in the second case, the value of a variable will be lost across server reloads. When possible, it is always preferable to use non-persistent variables. Always remember that only numeric and string variables can be persistent. To store values inside a variable, we can use the variable actions, which are a family of actions located under the variable actions folder, which is this one. Here you can find a different action for each different variable type you can set, one for strings, one for numbers, and one for vectors. To retrieve values from a variable, we need to use the corresponding placeholders. Let's suppose we want to retrieve a number variable stored inside our target entity. We will need to use a numeric variable placeholder located under the entity folder, which is this one. Let's now create an example item to better understand all these concepts. Let's say you can have two different effects when you press sneak, like healing you or giving you a speed effect. Let's say that you can select the effect you want to achieve by left-clicking or right-clicking with the item in your hands. We can achieve this result by setting the value of a variable inside our left and right click skill, and then retrieve it inside our sneak skill to select the correct effect we want to apply. Let's get into the creation of the item. Let's start by typing /SI_list. Let's create a new item and add a left click skill. Now let's go inside the onCaster actions. Let's now add a set numeric variable action, which is this one. Let's select the variable name, in this case let's call it move, and select a value, in this case we will put 0. We will keep persistent to false, since we want this variable not to be persistent. Let's now go back to the skill list and add a right click skill. We will go into the onCaster actions, we will add a numeric variable, let's set the name to move, and let's set the value to 1. In this case too, we will keep persistent value to false. Let's now go back to our skill set and add an sneak skill. Let's go inside the onEntity actions, and now let's create a condition action inside meta folder, wrapper folder, condition action, here it is. We will now set this condition to a numeric equals condition. We will compare the variable value, which we can find under numeric placeholders, entity placeholders, variable placeholder. We will have in particular to set the variable name to move to retrieve the variable we set before. Persistent will be false in this case, otherwise it won't work, because when you set the values and when you retrieve them, persistent must have the same value. Now let's set the second operand to 0, since we want to compare the value of a variable with 0. We add inside our action an heal action, here it is, that will heal us for half an heart. Let's now create a new condition to check if the variable value is 1. Let's go to meta actions, wrapper action, condition action. Let's now select a numeric equals condition. Let's retrieve the variable move from the target. We will keep persistent to false too, for the same motives we said before. Let's set the second value we want to compare to 1. And let's add inside our action an effect action that we will give speed for 1 second. And here we are, our item is ready. Let's get it now inside our hands by middle clicking it. Let's now test our item. We can see that I am not full health. If I left click and then sneak, we can see that I get cured by the item. Let's now right click to switch the effect and then sneak again. We can see I get a speed effect from the item. Let's now left click again and let's sneak, and we can see I get healed again. So we can say that the item works perfectly. So to recap, in this video we saw what variables are, how to set them, and how to retrieve them afterwards. For this episode is all. I hope you have enjoyed this day, and goodbye.